Torre and Narah Meissner. And your kids are probably downstairs in the youth group class, so we'll get them later. But I'm going to open with a word of prayer, and then let's give a big Skiff Lake Bible welcome to Torre and Narah. So let me pray, and then we'll welcome them up. Lord, we thank you for today. God, we thank you for your word. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your compassion and your mercy. We give everything about today to you. God, we ask that you will bless this time we have together. God, we thank you for the Meissners and the ministry you've given them and our partnership together in you. God, we just love you and worship you. In your name we pray. Amen. Let's give a big Skiff Lake Bible Church welcome to Torre and Narah.
Okay. It's good to be here. We thank you guys for partnering with us and just welcoming us back. I think I know some of you, most of you, but that's good. Don Freeman spreading it around that I'm open for hugs. I don't know about that. So, but yeah, we're the Meissners. I think our kids are coming back up. I'm not certain about that, but that's Turner, the tallest. Lydia's red hair. Everyone's taller than Narah, so that's the way it is. We serve at the Field of Mexico with Ethnos 360. The Field of Mexico has a guest house in El Paso. We run the guest house for everyone that works in Mexico. So we live in El Paso, but it's sort of like Mexico in El Paso. So we run the guest house there. That's what we do. Let's see. Turns 18, he's going to go to the Bible school in Waukesha, the Ethnos Bible Institute in Waukesha in the fall, which is like 3 weeks. And then Lydia is 16, she'll, if I hold it closer. Yeah, I just hold it right there. Lydia is 16, she'll be a junior this year, but we're homeschooling, so yeah, she's 11th grade, technically. So that's the guest house. And our ages don't matter, I don't think, anymore. So that's the guest house in El Paso. We live across the street and over a couple, but it just looks like a normal house. Nothing special about it as far as like what it looks like, which is good. We don't want to be advertising anything. So we've been there. That's almost 16 years now. I feel like the longer you get along in life, you start rounding up or you start rounding down. So we haven't technically been there 16, but it's almost been 16 years. We've been with the Field of Mexico for 18. So, because we went down to Chihuahua in 2008. So it was almost 18 years ago. There's the Google map view of the house. It's got 8 bedrooms. I believe it's got 32 pillows. So I don't think we've never had 32 people staying there, but we've had every room full. On occasion it's full. So 7 bathrooms? Six bathrooms. We need to amend our list. 6 bathrooms, 3 water heaters, a bunch of faucets, all the things. It does have 2 kitchens because on the left side of that screen there's looks like a separate building. That's like, we call that the apartment. It's got its own 2 bedrooms, bathroom, kitchen, and so that's a separate than the main house. And it's got, that has its own living area. And the main house is just what you would think of as a regular ranch style house. So you can ask the Freemans, they've been there. The Thorns have been there. So Narah's parents have been there. So I'm sure other people have been there. The Cottles have been there. They came and visited. So you could ask them for sure what it's like inside. So part of our responsibilities, cleaning, managing the calendar of people coming and going, which, good thing, we've gotten a lot more co-workers to come to Mexico, and so that calendar is getting a lot more busy. Even when we get back, it's crazy town. So that's part of what we do. Part of what we do is pick up people from the airport whenever they're going somewhere, the bus station or the border. Drive people back and forth to the border. So that's just me picking up one of my coworkers from the airport. Really, it was like 11, 12 o'clock at night. I decided to dress up in a suit and pick him up as a chauffeur. I was literally standing next to him and he did not recognize me. Because I think I had shaved my beard by just recently before that. And he's just standing there, like he's tired, he got back from Africa, and he's just standing there. And he just looked over at me, I'm just standing there like that with the signs like, oh my goodness. So fun stuff like that. It was nice to pick him up. What else do we have here? Cleaning, like I said, cleaning, fixing things. I try to fix things that are there. So without calling on people, just raises the cost of operating a guest house. So, yeah, dealing with everybody's mail that comes. So we'll have a little bit of time for question and answers after we do this thing, because I can tell you things that you may want to know different things. So if you have questions, feel free to ask at the end of this. So you can ask.
I want to add that Pete's wife, Liesel, the Hipkeys are good friends of ours, and he's our field chairman. And the reason Torre has a suit, he's never had a suit before this moment, was we were supposed to go, the Border Patrol turned 100 a couple years ago, and we were good friends with the sector chief, and there was a gala, supposed to be a gala, and they said, would you like to come? Well, yes. So our church in Idaho got on board and bought Torre the suit. I got a decent ball dress for really inexpensive, and then they canceled the gala 2 weeks out. It was a whole mess. So he has this suit. So he's like, this is what happened. Normally we pick people up on the curb. You don't get this service. No. So his wife said, Narah, will you pick me up in your ball gown? And I said, absolutely. She never flies anywhere, so I'm safe for at least 5 to 10 years. So I'm like, that's good. I was just gonna add on, people ask if we do meals for our guests, and we don't. They like to go out and eat out or cook their own stuff at the guest house. But we'll have people over for breakfast or dinners. We just kind of fit into their schedule, and sometimes it's even us going to the guest house with a cup of coffee just to talk to them and catch up as well. He's not mentioning the swamp cooler story. A couple weeks ago, it was probably been a month, it hit 100. We got our first week of over 100 degrees. And the swamp cooler, which is how they cool, I didn't know what this was until I moved there, is how they cool. It's evaporated air, so water runs down pads, and a fan inside of the unit pushes air through the wet pads into the room, and the wet air cools it off. Because I'm thinking, why would you want to add moisture to the air? Because here, that's the last thing we want to do. But that's how it's an effective way to cool the room. Well, it broke, and there was a family staying in the room. So it's 103, and then Torre's out there in the sun sweating, and you can't tell he's sweating because it's just evaporating. And a lot of YouTube and going to Lowe's. It's not a true project unless you go to Lowe's twice. And he got it up and running before the evening was up. So I don't think it's a big deal to him, but I'm like, it's so hot. And he's out there just sweating. So but it worked. So we have some updates. The apartment that Torre mentioned was originally housed the missionary family that took care of the guest house. But the family before us bought the house we're in, and then we bought it from them. So it hasn't been updated ever. I really don't know when the last time it was updated. And our field chairman said, we'll allot some money. They had already allotted money for us to kind of update the house, and then they said we can update the apartment. But we don't like painting. We will. I know there are special people out there, Janet, that are just like, yes, I will paint for you. So our other sending church in Idaho asked if there was anything they could come and help us do, and we said, yes, you can come paint this apartment. So this is the team on the left. They wanted to see, it's not really a great picture, the border wall. And
they wanted to touch the border wall.
I think it started with seeing, and if you go down there, there's really not a place to stop and see. There's so much traffic. So our friend who's the sector chief, we called him, because when you look at the news, if you hear about El Paso in the news, and they're in front of the wall, this is where they're at. So Scott told us where to go, and they were like, where are you taking us? Because you leave El Paso, you go through the desert, and it's kind of sketchy looking, and then you pop out here. And at one point, the Border Patrol drove by and took a picture of us taking a picture in front of wall. So that was them. That's bottom right hand. That's a couple of the people. They came and they, in 2 days, painted the whole thing. And then Torre, went through and just replaced light switch covers. Lydia helped them with that. Knobs, sinks, faucets, just everything to kind of make it all fresh again. It had an odd odor, and now that it's painted, the odor has almost gone away. Things like that. So that was really helpful. That was an update. The top right picture, we had a plastic playhouse, like a Little Tykes playhouse. We just don't make it like we used to in the 90s. So we couldn't find a replacement. The kids climb on the roof and the roof was cracking and they pound on the roof. It's just kids. So it was quickly becoming unsafe, but we couldn't find something equivalent. So Torre built a tiny house. It was a lot of discussion between him and I, like, find ones you like, but you have to find something that kids can get on the roof, because they will. So it's sturdy enough for them to get on the roof. And I wanted windows that parents could see their kids in there, but I didn't want any windows facing, because if you notice, there's glass on the other side of that. I didn't want, because rocks are thrown. There isn't dirt there, it's all rock. So he built that. I think it's pretty fun. And then he finished. An hour later, the family that came in, up on the roof, pounding with a plastic hammer on the roof. Yep. They just go up there and pound on the roof. Just must feel good.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to talk about about ministering as a family. So our kids have been a part of our ministry. While they don't always clean and change the sheets, they do help us. Like if he's out of town, the kids and I will go over and do that. But in small ways, they've been a part. So when we have people over, they'll entertain them. Like the bottom right-hand picture, Turin's brought out toys. I won't let them get rid of all their toys, because some of them are pretty fun for these kids. And he'll play with them. Lydia's in the top right, just eating with some of the kids. And on the left was a hike that we went on with a missionary family. So there's a lot of ministry involvement with our kids in that way. And then this year I realized everything's shifting. We're heading in this season of changes. So Turin graduated from our homeschool co-op called Classical Conversations that I taught at in order to afford for the kids to be in it. So that was kind of weird. And I realized kids grow up, but we've not changed. I'm just kind of like, our kids get older, but we're the same. And so him graduating and moving away, and then I realized Lydia's 2 years behind him. And just, it's just been weird. It's probably weirder for me than him. But I said, I feel like a part of my job is changing. But with that, the team on the left is MK Care. So MK Care is part of Ethnos 360 overall, but there's MK Care Mexico. So I've been part of the team for a couple of years, but with my responsibilities with the guest house, homeschooling, and teaching in our co-op, I really haven't been present very well. And we connect with all of the families on the field. Somehow I became the director, and I think it's because nobody else wanted to do it. Because I'm like, well, Narah, you need to, or they said, Narah, you be the director. Okay. But this year I truly feel I'm no longer going to be teaching in the co-op. The Lord has provided financially to be able to send Lydia the next 2 years tuition for that. And it's not super expensive, but it's just an extra cost, if that makes sense. It's not like it's a private school cost or anything, but that has freed up my time, not homeschooling one kid, and Lydia is pretty independent, that I'm going to be able to devote more time to MK Care, which is really exciting. So I'm already we had our field conference in May, and I already have families, and at the field conference, I presented what MK Care was, why we were there for the families, what our goal was, and it's to make families who are going into remote travel locations and homeschooling feel like they can do it. Not just, here's your curriculum, but when you want to send your kids away because homeschooling's hard, I wanted to do that in El Paso, and they're going to be so remote. And when you have that feeling of, I'm just done, I'm done with homeschooling, you can't go anywhere. So you want those family units to feel successful. So not just an academic encouragement, but an spiritual encouragement, and just I'm praying for you encouragement. You're not alone in this encouragement. So I had several families after I presented come up and ask me about the academics and ask, so I'm in touch, and I enjoy doing the search because we've come such a long ways from when you only had two options, and it was like Bob Jones and Rebecca, and now there's only almost too many options for homeschooling. So I had one mom say, I don't even know where to start. So I'm like, let me look, like, what do you want? So that's been so fun for me. And so I think this transition in graduating Turin and having him go to the Bible school in Waukesha, it's really fun to look ahead to something else and be part of this bigger, using what God, I told someone homeschooling was a gift I didn't know I wanted. When we started, I never thought we would do it. And now that I'm graduating one, and don't quiz him on anything, just trust me, he graduated. No, he's a neat kid. But that God took me through that so I can now help other people as well. And then the bottom right hand picture.
So we run the guest house in El Paso. On the bottom right picture, the older couple on the left side of that picture, they ran the guest house in Chihuahua. They did it for a number of years. They were in a different country, South America, Panama. Okay, so they served in Panama for a number of years. So they speak Spanish pretty well. They've been running the guest house in Chihuahua, and they're retiring from the field. And the couple in the middle with the little kid, they're taking over the guest house in Chihuahua. And we haven't gotten to know the older couple very well, because they really never come up. But the other couple that's taken over there in the middle, they've come up to the guest house quite often. Their boy has some physical issues, and so they've been up quite a bit with him. So we've gotten to know them, and so we feel like we're going to have a better connection with them as hosts down there and as hosts up in El Paso. So that's just a transition that's happening that's a good and positive one. I mean, we would just ask you guys to pray for them too, if you think of us, just because of what they're stepping into. They serve almost a totally different group of people than we serve, because we serve the people that live in Chihuahua and they come up to El Paso, where they're serving people that are living in Mexico that can't come to El Paso. Some of our Mexican coworkers can't come up to the States because they don't have visas. They also serve a lot of people that are traveling to and from the field from other countries, if that makes sense. Because a lot of times it's easier for a consultant from the mission to fly into Chihuahua than it would be to come to El Paso and then drive down. So they just serve a different group of people. We hardly ever see those people that they stay at their guest house, and they hardly ever see the people that stay at our guest house. So it's just an interesting new partnership with people we know. And he's pretty handy too. And she's very, very organized. So it'll be a good fit.
So this is the current field of Mexico. Not everyone's there. Some people were still on furlough. And it's I enjoy this picture at our field conference every 2 years, because probably 90% of these people have come through and stayed at the guest house, and some pretty regularly. So as Skiff Lake encourages us with prayer and finances, we are then able to encourage all of these people and support them in their ministries. And it's just a really neat place to be. If you ever want to come visit us and experience this, maybe not in June and July, but February, I would recommend. It's just really neat to see how what you're doing here truly encourages other people. Someone asked us if we receive a stipends from the mission to feed them, have them over, or sometimes I take the ladies one-on-one out to lunch or anything, and it's our churches who financially support us allow us to then support them, essentially. We don't get paid from the guest house in any way or from the other missionaries. It's because of you that we're able to live there and be part of this ministry. So that's just, I don't know, I kind of want to take you and so you can meet everybody, and I can say, these are all my friends, and these are all my church people, and my family and Skiff.
And so that's our field conference in the town called Camargo, and it's about 6 hours south, six and a half hours south of the border. So we have to go down there every 2 years, or we get to go down every 2 years. all the travel and everything is included in that, and also trying to find someone to take over the guest house while we're gone, because we can't just leave the guest house empty, because mail and packages and stuff come every day. So we go down every 2 years, and that's a whole field. And one of the main intentions of the field conference is to get everyone together. But like I said, a lot of our Mexican coworkers we never see but every 2 years. And so some of our coworkers are way down south in Chiapas, Mexico, which borders Ecuador. What borders Mexico? Anybody? Ecuador? Guatemala. So they're way down there. So, but they don't speak English. They don't speak a lot of Spanish. But so we do get to hear from them because we have translators that translate the Spanish into English for us. But I think the next slide.
I don't know if this next slide has sound. I'm so not techie. Every year I try this.
It should work, but yeah. So
Explain
we'll play
what it
it. So what it is I think there are 4 people up there. One of the guys is an American guy, but he has spent 40 plus years in the Tepehuan language. And so they got him and 3 other people to get up there and pray in that tribal language. And I think the one lady is from Chiapas. She's from Chiapas. She has gone back to Chiapas to serve as a missionary, and she is praying in her tribal language, so it's not Spanish. The one guy's Tepehuan for sure. The other one is, don't ask me to say it, Soto. So yeah, and the other 2 I can't remember, but I think we'll hear her praying in her tribal language. It's crazy to hear that. Hopefully you can hear it.
No, it's going to be on mine. Okay.
Y también estuve buscando a la hermana Elena Chapman. Pásale por
Oh, okay. I don't know if you could hear it very well. No one else there at the field conference speaks that language, so we're all just imagining what she's saying because she's really the only one that speaks that language. So that's the idea of part of the field conference is you get together with people and hear how their work is going down there. We'll probably never see her at the guest house, but she would be able to come up. But
I just thought it was really neat because sometimes in ministry you start to feel like you're the only person doing your job, and after a while it just feels like a job and less of a ministry. So every 2 years when we go to the field conference, and especially this, hearing them speak in these different languages, it was just neat to see through Skiff Lake Bible Church, through us, that we're reaching all the way down to almost Guatemala. And I don't think I'll ever be there. I don't know if you'll ever be there, but we all get to be a part of that together. Just some praise and prayer requests.
no, go ahead. Oh, wait.
Well, I was going to tell you really quick. This is a fun story, and I'll try to make it quick. That lady in the picture with me, you don't need to, you can't pray for her. Her name is Torre. This is at the field conference. She came up to me and she said, those of you who've known me a very long time, I went on a missions trip to Paraguay when I was 15. Now I have a 16-year-old. I'm like, I can't believe my mom let me do that. But that is what changed my heart and wanted to go into missions, was that trip. And this lady came up to me and she said, have you gone on a missions trip? And I said, I know who you are. She was on that missions trip with me. Neither of us live in the same hometown. We both moved. She is in Mexico with the team that came from a church in Maryland. They came to Mexico to do VBS with our kids and our teens. So in a sense, it was a missions trip for them. And so she was there with her kids doing that. And it was just a really cool how God brought us back together. We reconnected. Both of us still have a heart for missions, and her daughter goes to the Ethnos 360 Bible Institute, was there, met her, it was just a really neat connection of how God has brought both of us on this journey from when we were 15 to still having a heart for missions in our young adulthood. So we just have some, go ahead.
Just the praise of the safe travels back and forth to Mexico. It's always stressful, all the things. It is safe, pretty much safe to travel from where we travel to and from. So you see things on the news, and that's not where we're going. Camargo's not a hot spot. No one, it's just a bunch of farmers out there, basically. So, yeah, just praising God for the provision for Narah to be able to do the missionary kid care, MK care. That's just been a neat thing to see how that's progressed. Yeah, just praise it. Just thank the Lord for the provision to sustain us in doing what we do at the guest house. Sometimes it gets, I don't know, it's just a thing. It becomes a thing just what you do, but it's good to be reminded of why we're there, doing what we do. And those are anybody want to say?
And we're just always prayerful for more people to partner with us. I'm amazed that our support level hasn't gone up and it hasn't gone down, even though we've lost some supporters, we've gained some other supporters. We're at a season right now where we're praying just for more to partner because we've lost some support. But God has always provided what we need, not necessarily like, here's what you need for the next year, but here's what you need in this moment right now. I almost didn't put this on here because I'm like, it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. I have a cyst in my ankle that's in a bone that floats between your foot and this bone, okay? It's never gonna go away. There's a long story on probably how I got it. So I was in physical therapy last year. It was like the best physical therapy ever. I felt amazing. Well, it started hurting again, so I'm back in physical therapy. This is one of those things, the Lord provided finances for me to get a couple pieces of equipment to do more intense physical therapy at home. So it's annoying. It's hard to go upstairs. It's just, and it humbles you. You know, whenever you have physical ailments, it's just humbling that, you know, this is not our home and we need the Lord. Lydia recently broke her foot. We didn't realize she broke her toe, and it's gonna take a year. And then this just happened right before we came here. And I realized we're both in sandals today because I was like, we can wear sandals to church and then we have to wear tennis shoes the rest of the time. But she'll be coming to physical therapy with me, and you can imagine she's so excited. I was like, we get to hang out together. It's like, cool, Mom, cool. So for her, she has a really good attitude about it, but our prayer is just that it would heal because she can't, if it gets worse, she will need surgery. So there's a story about that. And just prayer for our family as we transition into the next season, moving Turin to Waukesha. It's so far. But he's excited. He actually was like, I can spend Christmas with Grandma and Grandpa. I'm like, no, you're coming home. So he's excited to be up here, closer to you all, which is great. And then I just always put in prayer for our marriage, that God would continue to strengthen us, and just prayer for our family and walking with the Lord in that. So if you have questions for us, please seek us out. We'll be there tonight at the Thorns as well. But yeah, that's all we have. Thank you.
Yeah, if you have questions for them, they'll be here in between the services and then afterwards at the Thorns. There may still be a slot left to host them for a meal this week. I don't know. I haven't looked at it the last couple of days, but there could be. So sign up and you can have a meal with them and connect with them more. Let's say a prayer and then we'll be dismissed for our break in between Sunday school and service. Lord, I just thank you for the ways that you're working and moving in our midst. God, I thank you for Torre and Narah and their family. And Lord, I just ask for your continued blessing and provision on them and the ministry you've given them. God, we just ask for healing for Narah and Lydia. And God, just a blessing on their family and their marriage. And also, God, that you will raise up partners to partner with them financially and prayerfully. God, we're so grateful for the partnership we can have with them. In your name, Jesus, we pray. Amen. Thank you so much for being here for Sunday school. You are dismissed.